Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And England DG.
And tonight, talking Mr. Banks. Yeah, talking Mr. Banks. All right, how you guys doing tonight?
Well,
Really good, actually.
Right on. Good to hear it. So yeah, we have a little bit of an exciting thing here. Throughout the whole, England just mentioned before we went on air, like, we're all getting ready for Inside Out. That's really kind of a big event in the Disney fan community. It's getting hyped to high heaven. It's been getting, like, phenomenal early reviews. People are saying it might be the best Pixar movie that they've ever done. And then there's this little film called The Good Dinosaur that's also coming out this year. And we're going to talk about that trailer. So, with that in mind, yeah, I already kind of expressed, like, I definitely think I'm stoked for Inside Out, but it's kind of funny just how much hype there is for Inside Out and just how much mystery there is behind The Good Dinosaur. So with that in mind, BlueDragonFive, you have a little bit of a background in terms of the development hell this movie's been in.
Sure. So this film has been a very interesting case for how Pixar has evolved in the last 2 years. So the way things have been slated, originally it was going to be at Monsters University, followed by Good Dinosaur, then Inside Out. That's originally how it was going to go.
I remember that, yeah.
But then there were some production problems. What the production problems were, now the film is a brainchild of Pete Sohn and Bob Peterson. Now Pete Sohn is, for most people, just kind of so people know who he is. I remember Remy's brother from Ratatouille. Remember Emile?
Yeah.
That guy, he's a board artist.
Okay, yeah, I knew that guy was voiced by some sort of production guy. Okay.
That's his voice, but also pretty much Russell's inspired by him. Yeah, just a really nice guy, really good at his job. And Pete Sohn, he does excellent boards from what I've seen. Also, Bob Peterson is basically the comedic force behind Pixar. This guy, he does good drama, but he's mainly the big comedy force at Pixar. He was the co-director of Up. He was also in Nemo, a co-director on Nemo. So again, he's also Monsters Inc. Those have been the three big things he's worked on. Those.
All three of those movies definitely have like a lot of comedy going on, but also like a ton of heart at the same time.
And of course, Bob Pearson's big claim to fame is that he voices Roz for Monsters Inc. And Doug, and he's also Doug. So he's got some big claims to fame.
Squirrel.
That's all him. That's what he actually sounds like and everything. Anyway, so Bob Pearson was kind of the main guy behind it, with also Pete Sohn there. And anyway, so they're working on a film. Basically, what if dinosaurs did not go extinct? That was the main just premise of the film. What if
a long time ago a meteorite hit the Earth, causing an alternate dimension where dinosaurs grow up as people?
So there's been a lot. You're right, dude. There has been a lot of mystery about this film, because that was the only statement they really gave us. It's kind of interesting when Pixar, they announce their movies, they give that just kind of a mysterious statement about what is, like, there was the working title for Inside Out, the Pixar film that goes inside a girl's mind. That was the working title. At least one of them was like the announced title for a while until they actually got Inside Out as their title. And here it was just The Good Dinosaur, and that was the only premise. And what if they survived? And there was only one image of production art, basically dinosaurs on looked like a San Francisco railway. Well, not even a railway. It just looks like kind of like dinosaurs in a city of some sort.
Right, and of course, when this film was first announced, I think it was when we did our big kind of Pixar, like, sort of retrospective of their future slate all the way out until Incredibles 2. I made the joke that it very much does sound like the premise to the Super Mario Brothers movie in a lot of ways.
Anyway, so basically here the problem started when they were kind of breaking the third act of the movie. They just hit a wall, and they just could not. Bob Pearson could not think of a way around the problems in the third act, and because of that, I'm not. Again, they're also shrouding this in mystery, but I'm assuming Pixar, they're a lot of nice guys. But then again, I don't know. I'm not keen. Like, maybe there might be an underbelly there. I'm not sure, but it sounds like we have a Ratatouille situation going on where someone works on the film initially, and again, Ratatouille, from what I understand, is not a negative situation.
No, I mean, Ratatouille is like an awesome movie, but yeah, that was an ugly production, though.
Well, yeah, the problem, like, what I mean by Ratatouille production moment is that it's they have someone working on the initial story, basically a different director working on the movie, and then through the production, just the story is not clicking. And Pixar, being the wonderful storytellers they are, they recognize this, and they will do the logical thing and basically bring some new talent on, like basically get fresh eyes on it. That's what they do. And because they realize there's no way really around the story move unless we get someone else in to maybe add some new perspective on it, which was what they did here. So Bob Peterson was kind of his conflicting ideas, he could not figure a way out, so they brought some help on it. Right. And again, Pete Son's good, but apparently they needed like a lot of help on this one because I mean John Lasseter, Lee Unkrich, and Mark Andrews are kind of like the unofficial other co-directors. I mean, basically they helped out on a lot of segments of the third act. They basically had to rework almost the entire movie, from what I've heard. They had to rework a whole lot of the movie. And because of that, there was a big delay, which I'm not sure if there's an underbelly here or not, but from what I hear, this is the delay in The Good Dinosaur caused the Pixar layoffs in Canada being shut down.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Because it had to be delayed in the production. Basically, people weren't working then. Obviously, there's not a reason for them to be there, and basically late. That's why Canada closed down, because this production was delayed. That's what I hear.
Right.
That's what I hear. And basically, in terms of what changes have been made, they've only announced kind of 2 hints as to what that might have been. We don't know until we see the movie or read the art books.
I saw the Art of Inside Out book when I was browsing my my local bookstore, and I was like, I still wanted to flip through it, but it was in the plastic cover, and I was like, aww.
Yeah, I hate the plastic cover. But basically, the 2 things they have kind of hinted at with the changes that John. Let me just go through the star-studded cast real quick. Kind of the great talent we have working on this movie. We got John Lithgow as our main dinosaur's papa.
That's an awesome cast. That's an awesome guy right there.
But pretty much all these guys are of note except this one guy, Lucas Neff, who was like he's the main guy on that show Raising Hope. So aside from that, he's kind of an unknown.
Okay.
He hasn't done a lot, so I shouldn't say unknown, but he's done a few.
But I mean, I would say that I think some of the best Pixar voices have come from people that are complete unknowns.
Exactly. So Lucas Neff is kind of our main guy, as our main dinosaur. So anyway, there's John Lithgow as his father, Frances McDormand as his mother. She's been in a lot of movies like like Primal Fear. She was in that. She's done some good work. His brothers and sisters are Neil Patrick Harris, which is good. I think he's good. Judy Greer, who's
Patrick Harris guy.
There's Judy Greer, who's really great on Archer.
I need to get into Archer.
I've been watching Archer. It's been better than
I need to see it. That's something that everyone tells me to watch.
And of course, last but not least, the guys who we're going to see in Inside Out, Bill Hader.
Bill Hader, the new John Ratzenberger.
Oh man, Bill Hader is so cool.
I love that moment from the last D23 where they keep bringing Bill Hader out on stage because he's like in 3 or 4 different Pixar movies, and then John Ratzenberger comes out with the frickin' Disneyland band behind him.
Anyway, so with that cast, basically what's been announced is like John Lithgow was in an interview and he said he might have to he has to re-record almost all. He's going to be called in to record his lines because they've reworked a lot of stuff with the father, so it kind of calls himself into question. So he's being asked to re-record lines. It means that they haven't gotten rid of the father entirely. Just they need to rework some dialogue with him. He also said the movie's been really restructured. A whole lot of it's been restructured. Apparently, nature is going to be the main antagonist of the movie, so it's going to be more like.
I like that idea.
So there's not going to be an actual bad, just kind of like the elements are going to be kind of the antagonist of the movie. And again,
it sounds like they've completely gone away from the whole idea of setting in like a modern city.
Well, here's the thing: the initial plot was that they were going to be farmers. The dinosaurs are going to be like a farming society, and now they've gotten rid of that. So there's no farming society, from what we can tell.
Okay.
So again, they restructured almost from scratch. So pretty much like they've thrown a lot of stuff out. They've reworked it, but apparently they've kept some. Like the mother stuff didn't have to be re-recorded. But again, maybe for all we know, get rid of the mother, except in a flashback. For all we know,
it's going to be an Aladdin situation.
No, I'm saying she's still going to be in there. Is
Clay Aiken going to have to come in and record a song about her like 10 years after the fact?
All we know is that she hasn't had to re-record her dialogue. No one else, to our knowledge, has had to re-record dialogue except for Lithgow. So the father stuff might be intriguing to see how that plays out.
Okay.
Point is, that's all I really know of the production. It's been restructured. So again, John Lasseter, Leon Courage, and Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, fantastic story, man. He's the action guy at Pixar. Oh, he's so great. And again, he worked on Brave. So again, it's interesting that kind of Ratatouille and Brave were kind of the productions where they had to kind of change directors in terms for those movies, and we've seen how that pans out. And usually good, usually mixed.
Ratatouille, obviously better than Brave.
Yeah, so Brave, it was a little more mixed with the change in directors and tone.
I mean, I like Brave. I'm one of the people that says Brave.
Of course, I'm with you on that, but still.
But I still think it's one of the lesser Pixar movies overall.
Ratatouille, the change in director looked like it worked out real well. Brave looked like.
I mean, it's Brad Bird, so come on. It's hard to go wrong.
So again, the point is, this movie has been. There's a lot of stuff surrounding this movie. Of like, this is the Pixar. First of all, they're doing an unheard of thing. That they've started this. They've always been saying they were going to do this, but finally they're at the point where they're going to be doing 2 films in 1 year. So that's going to be interesting to see how that pans
That's
out.
a monumental thing. Yeah.
Right. But we'll save more of this talk for the end. I suppose. Like just how Pixar is approaching stuff now. But
England, you there?
Yeah, well, then everything I've heard, and just so everybody knows, I'm coming at this from a consumer standpoint. So
Sure.
I'm looking at it. I know nothing about it. I've specifically stayed away from any information about the film. So everything I just heard from Blue Dragon, that's all news to me. And some of it, I really makes me nervous. Changing directors. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Rewriting scripts at the last minute, sometimes it works. A lot of times it doesn't.
And something to remember, Pixar, when they do their 11th hour decisions, usually it works more often than not. So that's something to also consider.
Yeah, but there's only so many times you can roll that dice.
That's very true.
And,
very true.
I'm not making a judgment on the film yet, but I'm just letting everybody know that's kind of where I'm coming from. Is I'm the uneducated consumer. I know nothing about the movie. I know that I love the Pixar brand, and I know that even their worst movie, which frankly I think was Brave, I still enjoy.
Even worse than Cars 2?
Well, no, I'm sorry.
I'm one of those people that actually defends Cars 2 as well, but
I blocked Cars 2 out of my mind. But
I mean, I certainly think Cars 2 is the weakest, but I still think there's a lot of good things in there.
It's still a diamond.
Yeah, you win, yeah. But even their worst movie, let's go with Cars 2 because I think you're right.
I think that's universally agreed on. Yeah,
is heads and
it's not
tails
terrible.
of.
It's just weak. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. It's all their movies have been good. So I still have high faith in the brand.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
And but I am coming at it from a kind of cynical standpoint. The one thing that really kind of gets me from the marketing side is I don't know if you guys ever had this book when you were growing up, but there was this popular book in Scholastic book fairs when I was growing up called Danny and the Dinosaur.
I vaguely remember that.
And all of their marketing images, you should look it up after we get off this. Anybody not familiar, just go Google Danny and the Dinosaur. It's a kid's book aimed for like kids 4 to 5. And really popular in the early 80s, mid 80s. And the imagery that they use with the child and the dinosaur, which we'll get into during the trailer, is extremely similar to that. So I'm having trouble and going back and seeing this imagery and not thinking of that childish book, and instead of trying to think of a more complex script. And that's what Pixar's been really good at with all of their movies, with maybe the exception, well, even Cars 2, where they can tell an adult story but also tell a child's story.
Well, I mean, Cars 2, yeah, people are getting murdered in that movie.
Yeah. So
Cars 2 just set out to just be like a fun summer action movie, which it accomplished.
I mean, it was. I still to this day say that Cars 2 has the best action scenes out of any Pixar movie.
Well, I mean, incredible.
Well, The Incredibles. Barring The Incredibles.
And I mean, Monsters University has like a really great third act too. You gotta admit that. Come on.
I've only seen Monsters University one time.
Oh, I love the ending. I love the canister shot from Monsters University. It's my favorite part of that.
I do remember liking the third act. I remember really liking the third act. I remember Randall didn't have enough to do in that movie.
That's when they first used the global illumination software over there, and oh my god, it looks so beautiful.
Okay.
Anyway.
England, just so let me ask you this though: when you heard that Pixar was making a dinosaur movie, what was kind of your initial reaction just to that, just on that premise alone?
Oh, trope. I mean, and I'm not trying to be negative, but it's just we've got Land Before Time 1 through 500, And then we've got...
But the original one is a masterpiece.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean,
it is.
Most of everything Bluth Animation did in that period was...
Everything from Secret and Nim to All Dogs Go to Heaven, I'd say.
Yeah.
That was like his sweet spot.
Yeah, and once they started doing the sequel, I mean, like Five Will Goes West was okay.
I really like Five Will Goes West.
Certainly it's not as good as the original American Tale, but I do like Five Will Goes West.
Well, it's like Cars 2 in a way, except it was
exactly. It's like, how perfect is it that was Jimmy Stewart's last role in a movie?
I have kind of a controversial opinion, only because I've seen West more than I've seen the original, but I think I like West more because I love.
I have seen West more than I'm with you. Yeah.
Actually, I'm the same way. I have both on my VHS shelf, and when I was a kid, I'd pop in West. But as an adult,
okay, I think that the original is kind of like has more artistic merit to it.
Well, of course.
But maybe maybe Goes West is just a lot more fun for kids.
Yeah, it's the westerns are awesome. That's the thing.
Right.
And it was.
I've actually been watching a couple episodes of the Cowboys of Moo Mesa after the Nostalgia Critic spotlighted it. It's not bad. It's fun. It's got some really good voice actors in it. Jim Cummings does like 3 different voices.
Of course.
But I didn't mean to get off onto a Bluth sidetrack, but
no, of course.
When I kind of look at it, I think of course the iconic Land Before Time, which was just an amazing. Not only cultural phenomenon at the time, but a great movie that still holds up to this day.
Thank you.
And I look at all the other dinosaur movies. It's really hard. Like I can't figure. I mean, take Ice Age for example. Like, is this just Pixar's version of Ice Age?
I don't consider Ice Age a dinosaur movie per se.
Well, the third one.
I mean, they didn't have dinosaurs in that until like the third or fourth one.
Yeah, it's the third one.
Yeah, but I sit and I look at this and I'm like, okay, you've got Ice Age has done this same prehistoric / transition to historic human dinosaur crossover. You've got the Croods that did it a couple years ago, which really wasn't that bad a movie. It's fun. It's not great.
I can never get past the designs.
Popcorn fare.
I could never get past the designs of that movie.
Well, if you
I just want to see the Croods because
the characters are. The background animation in the later part of the movie is absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. The scenes and the action ending, and then I forget who the main actor was.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
How can you forget that?
Well, because and if you can get past Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage, they should have had a different voice actor for the father. But I've watched it twice.
I'm a big Nick Cage fan, so you know what? I'll enjoy it.
Puppies! Puppies!
Oh God,
Nick Cage doing Adam West is priceless. It's just priceless. Like, yes, welcome.
He's been. I haven't been able to forgive him for Con Air when he did the world's worst Southern accent. I live in it. I live in the South. Okay, so. When you hear stuff like that, it's kind of like a gringo doing a Mexican accent. You're like, hey, man.
I hear you.
You know what I mean? You hear it and you're just like, shut up. That's not how we sound.
I just love Freakazoid's parody of Con Air. That's what I love.
No, that was good.
That I love.
Okay. So basically, you were skeptical about the dinosaur thing because you think it's been done before.
Yeah, and hearing the stuff that Blue Dragon was talking about, and again, I'm literally playing devil's advocate. I'm playing the blind consumer role in this. You talk about like nature's going to be the bad guy, and I'm sitting there, with Avatar, which is Fern Gully 2.0 with 3D graphics and blue Smurfs.
Nature was the bad guy in Avatar.
Well, no, but the nature message. I mean, it was the bad guy in Land Before Time.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
The secondary antagonist was the Tyrannosaur, but the primary antagonist was nature.
You've heard the whole thing about how Don Bluth originally wanted the Great Valley to be a metaphor for heaven.
Ooh, I
did not.
Yeah. Dark implications there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember we see All Dogs Go to Heaven. We see kind of the reverse of that.
Oh man! Oh God! All Dogs Go to Heaven is messed up in more ways than one.
It is. But back to subject.
Yeah.
But so that's where I'm coming from on it. Yeah, I'm a bit skeptical. I'll go see it. It's one of those. I'd rather throw money at it. It's kind of like I went to see Tomorrowland even after it got mixed reviews.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because I enjoyed Tomorrowland. I do see a lot of the reviewers' points about it, but I think that I'd rather put money into films like that than some of the other films. Though I still have Mad Max on my list. So it's not about violence or action.
Movie. Oh my God.
Every film genre.
England, see it before it leaves the theater. For God's sake, you need to see it on the big screen.
I'll go tomorrow. What's funny is the one thing I still haven't seen is Ultron.
Oh really?
Yeah, I haven't. And again, I'm coming from a consumer perspective. I was hyped for Ultron when I walked out of Big Hero 6. And I was like, they're just hitting every single one of these movies I enjoy more than the last. So I was so thrilled for Ultron to come out, and then the closer it got, I'm like, then I got to go to the theater and I got to spend $10. And I go to a Forkin screen, so when I go to a movie theater, it's a $30 experience, not $7.50 for the matinee.
Yeah, I do the $7.50 matinee thing.
Yeah, but
but strings.
But strings.
so again, that's kind of where I'm coming from. Is just I'm the consumer. I'm waiting for Pixar to not. I'm not rooting for them to not hit it out of the ballpark, but I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that bunt when we're expecting a home run, and I have bad feelings about this film based on what I've seen
there's
so
a
far.
disturbance in force on this one.
That's exactly what, and that's again me, just uneducated consumer looking at it. So, uneducated consumers watch trailers, and they're the ones that make the box office. Am I wrong? We're all going to go see it anyway.
I'm gonna be seeing it twice.
I've got to say, I was kind of the opposite reaction to you in terms of the reaction of hearing that it was dinosaurs. Because when I heard it was dinosaurs, I was like, I didn't care what the premise was. To me, I was just like, oh, Pixar? Dinosaurs? Yes, please.
For those who may not be aware, Tiki really enjoys dinosaurs.
Well, I mean specifically Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's like, yeah, dinosaurs, hell yeah, just Pixar doing dinosaurs. I mean, it's a great animation studio. Dinosaurs are something that you can have so many, different possibilities with. And, so I was on board. But, I mean, I see England, I kind of see your points about, I don't know, but then again, it's it's Pixar, so I do trust that they're going to do something different than, The Land Before Time. I mean, it's I think the frickin' Disney movie Dinosaur, that's a carbon copy of Land Before Time.
Yeah, we talked about that, but, what I'm looking for, and I kind of saw this with Brave, and I don't want to get overly philosophical about the Disney organization. I know Lasseter has overall creative control and Iger's left it alone, but what I'm waiting for is for the cross-pollination and the pollution to happen between the two. And I hope this is not it. I hope that it never happens. But I sit there and I look at it, and like you said, Dinosaur was nothing original. They even made a ride at it that nobody remembers is based on a movie because nobody saw the movie. And they it at Animal Kingdom. It was Countdown to Extinction before then, but still, nobody.
I remember that. That was an amazing trailer, though.
Oh, it was, and I but. Again, I'm
then the Lemur started talking, and everything went downhill after that.
That trailer frightened me as a kid, actually, a little bit.
Really?
A little bit, because it just struck me as the weirdest trailer I've ever seen as a kid, just seeing it. If I'm correct, I'm remembering this rightly. It's the lemur, is going after an egg or something, or protecting an egg.
No, it's the egg. It's just following the egg. It gets swooped up by a pterodactyl, goes through a river.
Yeah, the egg. That's it, though. I mean, the egg thing is oh man, it's what's going to happen to this egg? It's just very much always it was a really strange way to approach a trailer. I thought at that age.
Oh, I mean, I think the trailer itself is way better than the actual movie.
It just dragged. They didn't have enough content, and like I said, what I'm worried about is that cross pollen. I mean, you look at Brave, and I thought Brave was visually stunning. but I rank it right around Frozen. You know, Frozen was visually stunning, had great music, and the plot was okay. And that's what Brave is to me, in a different way.
I'm a huge fan of Frozen and BlueDragonFive, just
well,
so you know.
Sorry, Blue Dragon, but Frozen I don't think was that great a movie. We can debate that at a later point. All you like. But, well, it was a good movie. I mean, but it wasn't. Just didn't do it for me. I equate it more to Brave. I preferred Tangled myself. But
Tangled is really good, though.
Well, you know, and Frozen without the earworms, and again, the animation was beautiful. The music was really good. I just the plot. It felt to me like when they got around to the third act, it was just like, okay, we've run out of time. We can't tell any more story, so let's just throw together whatever. And
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. Yeah.
You know, I honestly, I would have felt better if it was a two-parter or if it was 30 or 40 minutes longer. Because I was enjoying the movie. I could have watched another 30 or 40 minutes of it. But that's, again, not for this analysis.
Yeah.
My point is that what I'm looking for with Pixar, and I'm kind of watching as the Disney-Pixar teams merge, and you can tell they're cross-pollinating because of what Disney Animation is putting out.
Of course, Rick
so they're Pixar people. Yeah. So as that cross-pollination happens, which probably will eventually end up, in my opinion, with Disney Animation folding and becoming Pixar, or then becoming just the combination Disney-Pixar, you know what I mean?
Well, technically, they're kind of now are Disney-Pixar almost. I mean...
Well, now it's Disney-Pixar and then Disney Animation Studios.
Yeah, I can totally see them combining that. And so what I'm looking for is the slip on the Pixar side, because Pixar has been for, what, almost 20 years now? Knocking
like
just every
25
single
years plus,
movie.
Yeah,
every single movie. I mean, even their shorts that they did before the movies, and I don't mean the broadcast shorts, I mean the stuff they were doing when they were testing the technology, are just, the stories are great. The music is perfect. The presentation is perfect. It's just, you can't get more perfect than what they were doing at the times they were doing it in terms of all-around filmmaking. And I'm looking for that slip. Brave almost had it, in my opinion, but it saved it towards the end. I think they slipped a little on the plot side, but you know, that's kind of how I'm looking at it from this side, as a Disney nerd. Now, as an uninformed consumer, I'm looking for what will excite me, and I'm not yet seeing it. And I guess we can get into that when we get into the trailer.
Yeah, but you remember the big thing of Pixar, one of their big reasons for their success is that they had a big, well, not an agenda per se, but remember their original agreement with Disney when, you know, Katzenberg was kind of the overseer, with, you know, kind of the emperor that is Jeffrey Katzenberg. The big arrangement was, if they, I remember in the Pixar, so they really gesticulate this really well, articulate this really well, is that if they had one flop, to be wiped off the map. You know, they couldn't get the marketing or anything. Basically, they couldn't get profits for the marketing. That all went to Disney. And if they faltered or they had one flop, they'd be wiped off the face of the earth. And that was their big motivator for why they were doing such a good job. Yeah.
All right. So if all that's set up, I think it's time to get into the actual trailer. Wouldn't you guys say?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So we start with something I think is a little kind of out of 2001 a little bit. I mean, it's not exactly, but you know, the asteroid field.
I love the asteroid belt so much.
Yeah, I mean, how good does it look? You know, again, like BlueDragonFive and I were going on and on about like how good the texture was in Big Hero 6, and I definitely feel the same thing with all these asteroids and just the sheer number of them that we see.
Right. There are two things Pixar does exceedingly well. One, it's space, but aside from that, the one I also really love, I love black and white with Pixar. I adore black and white with Pixar. But, the space is their other really strong suit.
Sure.
You know, they do it so well.
Now, stylistically, I feel like there is a difference between the dinosaurs that we see in this little opening teaser, you know, that are just kind of like gnawing on the grass and like just casually observe the comet going by and then just get back to gnawing on the grass. Stylistically, there's definitely a difference, wouldn't you guys say?
You mean from the other dinosaurs in the trailer?
Yeah.
Well, yes, but it's at nighttime, though.
It is at nighttime, but that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking more just the general aesthetic.
They have more realistic proportions.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
More cartoon. In fact, we'll get into it in a second, but when the little T-Rex guys or whatever show up, the first thing that popped in my head was Toy Story and the dinosaur from Toy Story. And I'm like, oh, they took his model, they slapped a new skin on it, and now we're gonna have this cartoony thing. I really loved that scene. I loved the whole trailer up until right after the meteor gag.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the meteor gag was awesome. Awesome. I actually laughed out loud when I first saw it because I did not expect it coming at all. I thought it was going to be a big disaster scene or something because that's
right.
And then it shoots right by, and you've got with the brontosauruses and they're munching on, and they just kind of look at it, and then they go back to what they were doing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that will have anything to play in the plot. I hope not. It's not like some sort of mystic thing that becomes their god or some crazy.
I hope not too. Yeah.
Well, there's a very good chance it's going to be like kind of teaser trailers because they've done brilliant stuff like that before in the market. Like Mary Monsters Inc. It was like the whole they go to the Mongolian kid's house.
Sure.
But I mean, it could also be like, because that is kind of the inciting premise of the movie of like, what if it just didn't hit? But it doesn't have to be like a god thing. It's like, well, it just didn't hit. That's how we start the movie.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think it should be an inciting incident more than like something that kind of the whole movie revolves around.
Yeah, as long as they don't make it some sort of like mystic, like there was magic dust on the rock.
No,
you guys get where I'm going with this. They take basically any classic '80s, mid-'90s crap movie, and there you go. We're gonna have the MacGuffin, and we're gonna have the convenient plot, and that's the whole movie. What I really like about this one scene, though, just touching on it before we go, because about the stylism, is it reminds me of the, and Tiki, I don't know how many times you've seen this, but it reminds me of the universe of Energy and the way it used to look when you'd ride through the ride.
I've only seen the video a couple times, but I do know what you're talking about, how all the brontosauruses are kind of in shadow when you first see them.
Yeah, I mean, it's changed a lot over the years, but this is very reminiscent. I'm not sure if Pixar meant to do that or not, but it's very reminiscent of when you would first pull into that part of the ride. Mm-hmm. And that's the last time I'll mention a Disney ride on this, but I just wanted to make that point.
You can mention Disney ride, by all means.
Well, it brought me back, and I looked at it, and I'm like, this is classic Disney imagery. This is awesome. Sure. Granted, this is Pixar, but it's classic imagery done well. They had a good sight gag that's amusing in the Pixar way, in the sense that here's this thing that shouldn't be funny, but you're laughing anyway.
Exactly.
So I liked it up until here, and then I'll let you guys move on. Okay. From here on, I have my own comments.
Okay, here we go.
First of all, we got Michael Dana doing the score for this, and I gotta tell you, just the little taste we got here. He's a new guy for doing the score for Pixar. They haven't used this guy before. I just love the momentum and the build behind just that asteroid hurtling towards the Earth. It just sounds so like, there's like this majestic build to it. I love it. Mm-hmm. Like not a 2001 per se, but just like the build of like something big's on its way, something mysterious.
Well, again, kind of why I expected it to actually hit. And then there's this massive scene, and then you end up with Land Before Time version 3.0, and when it missed, again, that's the Pixar magic. They drive home that joke, like, hey, we're gonna set you up with all this imagery and ambiance with the music, and hey, well, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do something completely different, and we want you to laugh.
It's almost like a Bernie joke, like how Bernie's like, he's like these little things of basically minor things of epic proportion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think they absolutely nailed it. I mean, the first 43 seconds, only because I'm looking at a timestamp, is just brilliant. I loved it. Loved it.
Well, about those few seconds of black screen, those are pretty impressive too. I'm kidding.
Well, I think that was just Tom Staggs showing up and tripping over something while they were doing the editing.
I don't know.
There's my dig. There's my dig.
Okay, so the first shot we see is, the first shot after the comet bit is a bunch of pterodactyls kind of flying, chasing after the dinosaur that's the title Good Dinosaur, the green guy with the long neck, and I can see the human character like kind of on his back, and so I like this setup. Now England, let's just get into it because you mentioned that you didn't like the whole combination of the realistic animation, the realistic backgrounds with the cartoony.
1 second before you guys get into it, can I say one thing?
Yeah.
One of my favorite shots in the whole trailer, aside from the meteor gag, I love the shot because I heard this is going to be, kind of the big plot things that he gets separated from his family. Now they at first they were ambiguous whether he's going to lose his family in some way, so there's question of that maybe they might die off or something. But it's looking a lot now. It's looking like he just gets separated because he gets like swept up in a storm in a flood, and we get that shot in the trailer like him in the water, and I love that shot.
Right.
Him like in the water getting separated. I love that.
So basically, Ice Age.
Well, which one?
The first one.
The first
they
one.
Find a human baby, and they have to return the human baby back to the caveman.
Well, no, it's not. No, dinosaurs getting separated, not the kid.
Oh, okay. My mistake. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no kid.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. One is like this dinosaur being separated from his family, kind of one of the members of this dinosaur family, and separated. Looks really awesome in that one shot in the trailer. I really love that, so I just want to mention that.
So Land Before Time, where all the kids get separated from their parents and they have to find the valley.
I love you.
I'm not. Like I said, I'm devil's advocate.
Well, I hear it's going to be during like an awesome rainstorm, so I'm sure it's going to look really dazzling.
I mean, it's Pixar, so I just have faith in the story just based on that alone.
Oh yeah.
And they're doing something different with it in terms of it's not just going to be the Land Before Time, because there's already inherently something different about this concept in that what if dinosaurs lived on past when they were extinct, Yeah. And I gotta say, I wasn't into the idea of this movie when it was like, when we had sort of like the idea of them being like the farmers and the modern, in the modern city and everything. I was against that. But I like the whole kind of like science fiction-esque kind of idea of like, all right, let's kind of have just this alternate timeline sort of thing and have like, because basically what I think this looks like is it looks like kind of like the start of the Ice Age.
Yeah.
But, how, and I'm sure Pixar will handle it well, but the concern that again rises for me is how do you set that up in such a way, outside of the sight gag that we saw, how do you set that up in such a way that makes you invested in the story as an audience member? I see so many ways, and if they pull this off, I'll be the first one to applaud them. But right now, I see so many ways they can go wrong.
I'm getting a strong sense that they're what that little moment with the meteor symbolizes for the movie, and what kind of they've, I guess, kind of been promoting with this. So the very little they've said about it is that it's playing with expectations. That's the big thing in the movie. It's like it's going to be like they've said. It's kind of like a boy and his dog, sort of on a different like so the kid's kind of the dog, so to speak.
I do really, yeah. That is a big part of it. Yeah. That's probably going to be like the main character dynamic right there.
Yeah, because the kid's called Spot, literally.
I do really like the shot of all the dinosaurs stampeding against the sunset.
Oh, yeah.
I think it is, like, there's something a little bit off about the proportion of the T-Rex, the head. I think the head is a little too big, but whatever, it's fine.
Well, and you brought up proportion. And they have. It's not just dinosaurs. He's stampeding with what appear to be prehistoric buffalo, for lack of a better.
Right, and that's kind of like one of the sort of like neat little science fiction world building things here. Is like, I don't know if that's like supposed to be like a real prehistoric animal. I don't know if there's like these different species of prehistoric animals that came along because the dinosaurs stuck around. I don't know, but the whole thing intrigues me.
You don't think there's a chance of unfinished animation in the trailer, do you?
Oh, that's interesting. What are you looking at? What do you?
Well, maybe it's missing a final render or something on it when they just put in the trailer. Because again, the production's problems with this, and it's been delayed. So I don't know, it could be like previous footage.
I can point out one shot that I think might have that.
I'm just saying it's a possibility. I'm not saying it maybe is because I think in context it's going to look a lot better.
Like, for example, when I first saw the first trailer for Cars, I was like, oh, Pixar's lost it. What the hell is this crap? And then the actual movie I loved because it really hit home with me in terms of a lot of the themes, and the animation was gorgeous. And yeah, the first trailer for Cars was not very flattering at all, especially because you had just Larry the Cable Guy in there all the time, you know, and he's just popping up like, Daygum! I'm like, shut up, Larry the Cable Guy, shut up. Daygum!
Yeah, you look at something like Up. Up, we had no idea what we were getting, and it was kind of fun.
I loved I still have fond memories of when they first announced Up, and it was like, oh yeah, it's an old man and a Boy Scout having some weird adventure in South America, and I'm like, what?
I remember Up was the movie, because I loved it so much, I would sell it to people. That was the biggest. That's the only problem with the movie, is that they're selling people in the title of like having to explain it constantly. Like, it's called Up. Oh, Up is like, I mean, it's. You know, people say, what do you mean up? What kind of name is that? Well, it's because it's going up. It's a floating house. So you got to explain the floating. You always could have called it a floating house, and people would have got
Zoom house.
I just described. Well, it's a floating house. It's about an old man and a Boy Scout.
Well, we talked about this earlier, though. I mean, that what they, and this is what Pixar is really good at. What I'm hoping that this trailer doesn't. This trailer proves not to buck the Pixar trend. Is what they actually turned out with Up. I don't think anybody expected.
No,
absolutely not.
I mean, not at all what I expected walking into that movie.
Like, the only
Wally was the same way.
The only hint we had, like Pete Docter only. There's one thing Pete Docter said, like just in like I read somewhere, he just said like, it's an unfinished love story. It's all we got, and of course it pays off brilliantly.
Oh God, yes. Oh my God. Okay, let's move on to the next shot. Let's see.
Well, not that many shots left.
No, I don't.
Well, yeah, but
as you said, BlueDragonFive, we get the shot of the. Do we have a name for the main dinosaur, so I don't have to keep calling him the main dinosaur?
Give me a second. I think I can find out real like It's Arlo.
Arlo. Okay.
Arlo's our main guy, our green guy.
Yeah. So we see him in the water again, like really fantastic looking water.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I'm gonna wait till the next shot before I comment, because I know Tiki, you and I have a discussion to have here. So.
Yeah.
I don't like the next shot either, so I'm kind of with you.
Well, what if we want to go ahead and jump to that, because I agree everything that was said. You know, up until this point in the trailer, I was really enjoying it. I was kind of like, you know, okay, well, the T-Rex running with the buffalo, that's kind of Lion King. It looks okay. You know, the T-Rex's head's too big. If that is a T-Rex or an Allosaurus or one of the 500 different versions of T-Rex they have now. You know, because when I grew up, there was T-Rex, and that was about it. But there was also a Brontosaurus, which now just recently became a dinosaur again. Just like Pluto will eventually become a.
When did it not become a dinosaur?
Seriously, it wasn't. It was not an Allosaurus. That's one of the T-Rex variants. They split it off for a while, and it was like 3 or 4 different variants. And then they went back and they looked at the original fossils, and they decided that the guy who put it together that called it a Brontosaurus was actually correct.
So it's like the Pluto of dinosaurs.
Again. Yeah, that's well, except that Pluto still is not a planet. So we can thank Neil deGrasse Tyson for that, but I respect the guy a lot. So
yeah, I mean, Tyson's hard to hate, but again, he took away Pluto, which is sad.
he took away yeah. Well, he just made it a microplanet. That's the designation.
Well, he's
but
still there.
Yeah, the scenes, the environmental scenes, I think, are out of touch with the cartoonish characters. I don't like the artistic style, but up until now, I was buying it. And then the next scene happened, and I see 2 orange. I mean, they look like dinosaur versions of the orange sickle. You know, that frozen treat that you eat. I mean, they look terrible. The teeth are.
They do look terrible. I agree. This is the worst shot in the trailer for sure. It's completely unfinished animation, I think.
No, yeah, I was going to say that's where I was interested with what Blue Dragon said, because I wonder if this scene that's not fully rendered.
I would definitely say I would be surprised if this was like a fully rendered shot that ends up in the movie.
It's either unfinished or it needs context. One of those two. Like maybe if we had constantly how the performance goes for the other dinosaurs in there, maybe it'll look better in the grand scheme. Otherwise, it's unfinished.
Yeah.
Or if it was a memory shot, like if this was a flashback, that animation style could work with based on the other animation that we've seen so far.
Now, something about the T-Rex
memory.
Maybe. Because it is a little foggy background. The background's kind of foggy.
Mm-hmm.
But however, this is interesting. I want to bring this up. Now, originally, they kind of, in their initial treatment of the story, they didn't want T-Rexes in it at all. They wanted to focus like on the non-threat, like down your leaf eaters and your long necks.
You gotta have the T-Rex. It's the motherfucking T-Rex.
That's the thing. They I assume they maybe buckled on that, but then get made with the rework, and they figured, well, we need just to show maybe they kind of represent nature in a way. Maybe I don't know.
The nostalgia critic convinced them.
Well, again, that could tie in with a rewrite and everything else you've described, as this is a flashback scene. You mentioned that the mother character may disappear. Maybe this is the tragic flashback of the mother disappearing. I don't know, but all I know is this scene looks awful.
Yeah, for all we know, maybe
I'm not going to argue there.
So again, for all we know, I'm not saying anyone's going to die, but I'm just saying they're going to get separated at some point. So I'm not sure like how much of the family's still going to be in there. All I know is John Lithgow is recording parts.
Is it going to be like American Tail, where they're just wandering around, and it's like they have like all these near misses throughout the movie?
Who made American Tail?
Blue.
Oh, who made Land Before Time that had
Blue.
Kids that got lost with near misses?
You know what I think it's going to be more.
But Land Before Time didn't have nearly as near misses as American Tail. I mean, American Tail was basically the whole movie. It was like, God, just turn your shoulder like 2 inches and you'll see them.
I'm just being obstinate, dude. I'm just being obstinate.
But you know what? I really think it. You know, I think it's kind of funny. They might go like Ratatouille, actually. How Remy gets separated from his family. I think it might be how it goes.
Right. Yeah.
That was a good sequence of how he got separated. Remember?
Okay.
And it was handled really well, and it told the story in a different way. I don't know. I'm still kind of thinking this might be a dream scene. The more that now that we've talked about it, when I first saw it, I was just like, oh God, this is like Pixar trying to be Ice Age.
I agree that the style of these T-Rexes definitely looks like something out of Ice Age for sure.
Let me address something with the style here real quick.
Okay.
Now with the style, it's interesting. Now a lot of people had kind of a similar thing with Monsters University. Now, in the trailer initially, they look kind of similar, kind of textury style to the T-Rexes initially.
That's a very good point. I do remember people having problems.
Yeah. Now, after you saw that for the first, and then when maybe it is unfinished animation because of that, because in Monsters University that's just tests like a trailer thing, and then of course in the movie they used the global illumination software, which made everything
look beautiful. Fantastic. Yeah, sure.
And bear in mind, with Big Hero 6, I know it's different productions, but bear in mind, they upgraded the technology with the Hyperion software. So maybe, I'm saying it's an exact thing or anything, maybe they've upgraded the software in some way, if not used the Hyperion software, or added their own, like kind of mixed it with the RenderMan system, and have a render at the ready that they're going to use once they've, just put something visually to throw on the screen while they're saving their best stuff for the actual movie, or at least for their full-length trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's not just the. We all agree the textures are awful, but it's also the animation style and the poses, the over, I mentioned it earlier, they look like toy dinosaurs, and they're set on this ultra realistic background that looks like, frankly, there's been a forest fire or something, and it doesn't fit for me.
Well, if nature is the bad guy, that might explain the background. So I don't know, but.
Yeah. If I'm a kid playing with toys in a sandbox.
Well, let me ask you this. I have no knowledge on this, but if an asteroid, if the meteorite didn't hit the dinosaurs, what happened to the Earth then? What's like precisely environmentally you think happened to the Earth?
Well, that's I think kind of what the intriguing premise of the movie is. It's just kind of like, the butterfly effect of this one thing not happening, kind of changing the entire course of.
I'm saying,
development on Earth.
Like if somehow the dinosaurs around me that infected the environment, like so, or like if they were around to see what happened in the transitional phase of the Earth, perhaps.
Right.
I'm just throwing it out there, maybe.
I'm almost kind of wondering if the dinosaurs have been around so long that, the exaggerated big heads are maybe like a mutation or something.
Perhaps, and this is kind of weird. This is dawned on me now. Maybe again, just looking at the original premise, like how it was going to be farmers, maybe there's an idea, maybe a bit of evolution in there, so maybe they take on humanistic features as time progresses.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe the thing doesn't hit them it ages for a while, like I don't know, like how many decades or whatnot goes by, and they start to develop human features, and they maybe that's when they verbally communicate or something. I don't know.
Mm.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, it'll be interesting to see the final product.
Well, let me tell you the reason.
But,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, England. I'm sorry. You go, please.
Well, I was just gonna say. I mean, the only thing that really kind of turns me off is they look. And I've got the scene paused. I'm looking at it right now. But it's the same as all the other scenes that I've commented on. They look like literally plastic toys, plopped in front of a very ultra realistic and beautiful background.
Yeah.
And while that's intriguing, it's also the sort of thing that DreamWorks Animation has been doing for the past decade.
Yeah, but How to Train Your Dragon 2 is one of the most beautiful looking animated films ever.
I've heard that. I haven't seen it.
You need to see it. It's gorgeous.
They've mapped in, like, it's really expensive, but they've mapped in the motion capture to a new way now.
It might be the single best looking animated film I've ever seen. I might go as far as to say that.
It is
It's a gorgeous looking film.
It is extremely.
All right, I'll shrink that then, and I'll just say Ice Age, the Ice Age trilogy, which I enjoyed them. I actually enjoyed.
Ice Age isn't DreamWorks, you know that, right?
What's that? Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, you're right. But my point is, it looks. Yeah, I'm just not there. I'll leave it at that. I've said my point. I've said it over and over.
Let me tell you why the look doesn't bother me.
Okay.
It doesn't bother me, especially on our main guy, especially on Arlo, because I think you need. Because I remember way back in the day, one of the most amazing things I learned about Pixar was that there was a making of feature for Finding Nemo. Again, Finding Nemo, one of the really great DVDs.
Oh yeah.
Comparison to what they're doing now. They showed this animation test just to see how close they could make the fish look, and it's amazing. This little featurette thing. It's basically Pixar. They use back in is before all the new technologies, but still even back then, they did a test where they looked at actual footage of like marine life and stuff, like actual footage like whales and then the fish and everything. They have it on one side, and the other side they've recreated it as exactly as they could, just see how close they could get. And it was so amazing they couldn't tell which was which. It was that good. So they had the ability to go that realistic with it, and that's the trick of it from that point forward when they do these things when they're taking on like animals or inanimates. That they can get the realism. I'm convinced Pixar can do the realism if they wanted to, but they want to have that. You need that maneuverability in the facial animation. You need to make it a little more appealing. That's why Nemo, and obviously they're not just actual fish. They're they're made a little more cartoony, expressive, so you can actually have a charming fish face. So instead of like the eyes being on the side and everything, they're a little more human looking.
And to tell you the truth, that was kind of one of the problems I had with the character designs in Dinosaur. Was that they were just too realistic, and it was just kind of off-putting.
Now, what I'm saying is I think for this, it's kind of a similar thing, that they're just making a little more. I think the premise of the movie is like kind of Dinosaur's taking on kind of the humans of the world, so maybe it's a bit of. They're using that for they're taking the creative liberty for some expressionism there. Again, we'll see how the T-Rexes pan. I'm gonna put some weighting on the T-Rexes, but I think with our long necks, I think that's just they're playing with some stuff and just some personality. They're just adding some animation cues. I think the animation ultimately, and hopefully the performance and the writing, will justify that look. That's what I'm hoping for.
So we have the final shot with it. It's Arlo and Spot, and they're running off on a cliffside, and I like how it cuts away right as Arlo's about to jump from a ledge onto another ledge. I do love the logo too. I love the handprint within the cave painting of the dinosaur.
Like symbolically, like, hey, good dinosaur.
Right.
Again, what that final scene reminds me of, and this is in a good way. And I think Blue Dragon made a lot of really good points, which I'll reconsider how I'm viewing it. But it looks like Pete's Dragon.
Okay.
No, I never thought of that. You're kind of right.
Yeah. I can see that. All right. So that's about it. I feel like we've kind of run the gauntlet on this. Do we have anything else to say?
We could round it off with just some Pixar direction talk.
Pixar direction. Okay. Well, I mean, what do you guys think of just the fact that Inside Out is being so publicized about, and this is kind of being pushed to the back a little bit?
So fascinating that originally they switched places in Nerds of Productions. Inside Out was the one I was like, oh, I can't wait for that one. Then it's like, oh man, it's moved to the forefront. I can't wait for that. It's like a little. I remember
from the marketing, I look at it like they're trying to recreate what Universal has. Oh God, my
Despicable
mind.
Me?
I'm sorry. It's Despicable Me. I'm sorry. It's 1 o'clock here, so it's yeah, with the Minion. I just I know intellectually that the plot is not going to be that bad, but I look at the way they're marketing it, and I'm sitting there going, no, this is the Minions all over again.
Are you talking about Inside Out?
Yeah.
No, I don't feel that way. I feel like the marketing in Inside Out has been really good about kind of concentrating on like what the roles of the emotions are going to be. I will agree that the character designs I'm not very partial to, but I do think that, you know, they've grown on me since I first saw them, for sure.
Well, you know, I look at it, they've released videos that are like, here's anger, and here's Lewis Black is anger, so, you know, I'll go see it just for that. But,
can I say that curse word now?
Exactly. But, you know, I look at it and I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of the Smurfs mixed with the Minions, and where is this going to go?
No, you're selling it. You're selling it way short. You're selling it way short.
Let me tell you the two things really grabbed me for Inside. I think grabbed a lot of people for Inside Out. One, I think the big thing obviously was that first trailer was really good. Not the teaser. I'm saying like the first like trailer where they have like the whole football gag and everything, and like, you know, like the sports, like you see there's something wrong with the girl and the parents, the inside of the parents' heads and their emotions. Yeah. Like signaling like, well, what's he giving this dumb look for? Says, oh wait, what do we do? Do we leave the toilet seat up again? What? You know, that whole. By the way, that's Pete Docter as the anger inside the father's head. By the way.
Oh, okay.
First of all,
sounded kind of like the voice actor who does Archer and Bob.
No, it's H. John Benjamin. That's not him.
Okay.
I mean, it could be Kyle MacLachlan, because actually, believe it or not, Pete Docter sounds a little bit like Kyle MacLachlan as the father in that movie, but I don't know. Anyway,
I mean, you know, it looks interesting to me, but then again, I wasn't interested in Monsters, Inc., and then when I saw it, I was blown away.
You mean the first one? The first one or University?
Both, actually. I wasn't interested in either one of them. I saw Monsters, Inc., thought it was awesome, and then I saw Monsters University. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a tired parody, and or not parody, but sequel. And
I did think it would be a tired parody of like, you know, Animal House type movies too.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where the parody came in my mind. But the point is, you know, when I saw it, it was actually really good.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, again, this is one where I said this earlier, I am waiting for Pixar to drop the ball. Not in a good way. I hope they never do. But these are two films that just don't excite me. I'll go see them, but I'm skeptical.
I'll tell you the other selling point with Inside Out for me. I think it's coated with really brilliant subtlety.
Yeah,
It's funny because one, it has, you know, it's a Pete Docter film, and I think because Up, it's funny, just a learning experience on Up, just like that we underestimate. I don't know if underestimate's the right term, but the point is like we didn't expect what was coming. I mean, now we know like good stuff can come from Pete Docter. Like, you know, like good stuff can like come from like the understated stuff in the Pete Docter trailers for those movies. And just looking at this one, I really caught this one element. And I've told Tiki about this Nexus segment, but there's basically this one clip they showed. You know, try to steer away from the clips. There's this one clip where basically it's like you notice in the trailers that they do kind of talk down the sadness.
Yeah,
it's basically saying like sadness, like stand over there, sadness. And with that said, and it kind of dawned on me in that moment, looking back at the trailers and everything, the subtle implications of the emotions roles inside the body, which leads to all this speculation, like how the emotions will, what that will equate to in the little girl, and also like the fact that sadness. Think about what the emotion of sadness is lot in life would be. Of like, well, no one likes you, no one likes to be sad, but you are a necessary emotion, and the fact that like joy is kind of our other one, Amy Poehler playing Joy, and the idea in this was her just like kindly saying, "Oh, stand over here, sadness, don't touch me." Of course, like.
Hello?
I think we lost him.
Oh, no.
You still hear me? He was making it a great point, too.
Yeah. Oh, God. No, Blue Dragon. No. Well, I don't want to keep this going for too long, but yeah, he was making a good point. No, I don't know. To me, it's like, I'm someone who does have mental health issues myself, and I'm kind of fascinated with the idea of kind of like the emotions in your head, and then the core memories being interrupted, and that kind of messing with your perspective, and so just the whole thing kind of fascinates me in terms of like just turning like all these sort of just neurological functions into actual characters.
Yeah, and it does for me as well. But and frankly, the previews that I've seen, they've all been amusing. Especially the way that they're breaking up all the individual emotions with their own video every day.
Oh yeah, I think
it's really smart marketing.
Yeah.
But what makes me nervous again, I don't want to be negative, but I'm just waiting for that time when the checkbook trumps the
oh boy.
Trumps the creativity.
Are you sure that didn't already happen, of course, too?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. And again, the Blue Dragon mentioned it earlier. This is the first time they put out 2 features in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
That could be awesome. That could be the grand new future of Pixar. That could also mean that we're looking at the first generation of Pixar films where the quality starts to decline, just like we saw, Pocahontas. And,
oh God.
Remember.
Pocahontas. We saw it in Disney animation already, so it makes me nervous. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I'll see both of them. I'll give them my box office dollars every day. But,
remember, DreamWorks, they release more than 1 film a year, and again, it can be hit or miss to those guys.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's more hit than miss, but I'm saying there are like home.
It's more hit than miss, but home looks absolutely awful. So
I wanted to hit home with a bat, so like if this is what brought me that movie, it's like, how dare you?
Well, I mean, all studios go through their slumps. I mean, even Disney animation. Look at Home on the Range. Yeah.
I'll defend Home on the Range.
Yeah, he'll defend Home on the Range.
Well, yeah, it's fun if you've had about 3 shots of tequila and a full thing of popcorn. But otherwise, it's not a bad movie, but it's
fun if you're a cow.
But I mean, I'm really nervous about both of these releases. They don't excite me like the other ones did. But like I said, Monsters Inc. didn't excite me either. So, and I was completely wrong about that. I didn't see it until after DVD release, and I completely regretted it. In fact, I have this running tale that I would tell where I would choose the wrong movies. Like I skipped Tangled because and when I finally saw it, I was blown away. I thought it was excellent.
What did you pick over it?
I just skipped it. I didn't want to go see it. So then I was like, well, I'm going to go see Brave because I saw Tangled after the DVD release, and I'm like, okay, I'm screwed up. So I'm going to go see Brave, and I went and saw Brave, and I was disappointed. So then I skipped Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh God!
And then I saw Wreck-It Ralph, and I was like, well, what the heck? This is like a fantastic movie.
You need to consult us on this. Consult us.
Oh God.
And
the cycle went on for about another 2 years. So.
Tiki, did you not help this guy at all?
I just met him like 6 months ago.
Yeah, we didn't know each other.
All right, guys, I think that's about it, unless you have any kind of closing thoughts.
Yeah, just a few the last closing topic on Pixar here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one, did you hear anything I said about sadness? Because I know I cut out there.
Yeah, we heard everything he said. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you were talking about where she's regulated the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's gonna be kind of interesting to see her and Joy paired off in the movie, but anyway.
I think the whole movie is going to be like kind of the relationship between sadness and joy. Which
again, the implication.
If you think about it, not to be all like new agey and hippy dippy, but sadness and joy. That's like life, man. Life is nothing but a combination of sadness and joy.
I think a big question might lie on if the parent thing that was in the trailer is just a gag for the trailer, if it's actually going to be a movie. Because if it is, think about the fascinating implications here. Think about this. So the father.
It basically means that every single Pixar character can have an inside out going on inside their head.
Well, I mean, also think about this. The father has all male emotions. Mother has all female emotions.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Because that's been bothering me. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the other thing I thought was very telling. Okay, now think about this. The lead emotion in charge. Now, for father, it's anger. For mother, it's sadness. And for daughter, it's joy.
Right.
Think about that. You get some implications there.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of stuff going on there, man.
Yeah. Anyway, so let me just say this about Pixar real quick, just kind of looking towards the future, especially with Good Dinosaur. So again, I think we're in an era of Pixar at this point since since University onward, where they've just been maybe after Toy Story, but I think more so the University onward. They're just getting gutsier and gutsier with these with their film choices and their ideas of pretty much they could go really well or they can go really south. I mean, they haven't gone south. I'm saying they had the ideas are that risky they could go. So I mean, Toy Story 4, I'm sweating bullets over.
Yeah,
I'm just like Toy Story 4 is the biggest gamble they've ever taken, and Finding Dory will be a good barometer on how worried we should actually be with it.
Yeah, right.
That Incredibles 2 is basically you can't do wrong because everyone loves the Incredibles. But we'll see.
Watch Incredibles 2 is going to come out and just completely suck. There's no way though. There's no possible way.
Well, I think the one thing with Finding Dora and Incredibles 2 is that they are. Gosh. But the point is,
I think Dora. She's right there. Hi, Dora.
The Dora the Explorer ticks me off.
Tiki, stop swiping.
Every time I think of Dora, I just think of the Kevin Smith monologue where he's talking about watching Dora the Explorer.
Go ahead.
Both of those, Finding Dory, and
Incredibles.
The Incredibles they're both sequels.
Yes,
so,
right.
The problem with Toy Story, and this is why I agree with Blue Dragon, why I'm sweating bullets, is they already tied up the entire story. They already tied it up and passed it off. So how do you bring that back? And this is probably what George Lucas.
I thought they were on the right track with the specials that they were doing.
Now, from what I hear, the intention is to basically do a full-length special with this. That's what I've heard, and the idea is that it's basically there was waiting for an opportunity to retitle it. That's what I hear they're working on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can only assume that because John Lasseter keeps hammering in because they all are smart enough to realize it'd be a horrible idea just to cheapen Toy Story 3. So they're just saying they want to tell a story within the Toy Story universe, which makes me think they're just waiting to retitle it so they'll just go with Toy Story.
I still want a prequel.
I would look. I don't know if I told Engler or not, but I've had the prequel idea for Toy Story. But we're not going to get into that now.
No.
Point is, there's a few directions left to go with Toy Story. But again, the only worry I have with that is just like I'm all for bringing the cast because I love those guys. But then again, if they want to tell their own story, I'm wondering how much of that should be devoted to the new characters, or how much of that's going to be devoted to the old characters. I'm worried like how much balance there's going to be with the old characters versus maybe new characters if they're telling a story within that universe. That has to be so interesting it justifies coming back. Right.
And that can be tied right back into Episode 7 of Star Wars.
Exactly.
It's the same scare. I mean, it's the same scare that the fan community is having. It could be great, and we could love these new characters and move on. But
we already had the whole thing of like, oh look, it's Harrison Ford playing a character that he played in the '80s. It's awesome. Oh no, it's not.
And so with Pixar, even like Finding Dory sounds like an interesting. It has a lot of interesting elements to it. So I'm really interested to see that.
One thing I don't like about Finding Dory is the whole like. Oh, she's discovering her family, because I just think that's kind of a tired trope for animated sequels.
Well, she has the ultimate excuse, though. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but then again, look at the title, Finding Dory. She can't even find herself. She forgets every 30 seconds.
You never think of the message of that. That's kind of interesting.
Actually, I never did think about it like that before. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Finding Dory. We'll put her in a retirement home for old fishes.
Well, remember,
that's a very existential way to look at
and
it.
it's going to be interesting to see. She's going to be paired up with Nemo this time around. It's going to be her Nemo throughout the movie.
I mean, I think it'll be exciting. They did well with the Monsters University sequels, or a sequel.
Prequel.
Prequel, but yeah, sequel, prequel. The point is that they did the characters right. It was better than Cars 2. Yeah, there are just some things on their lineup, and I know this isn't a lineup discussion, so I'll just make it very quick. But there are some things that I look at, and Toy Story 4 is one of them. That I just think that there's a studio exec saying this will make a lot of money because these kids grew up with it. I mean, the kid that I gave a Buzz Lightyear doll when I was dating his sister when I was 18.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry, England. Oh my God!
I gave him a Buzz Lightyear doll because Toy Story. That was his birthday present from me, and he's now having kids of his own.
Oh my God!
But think about it from the corporate executive standpoint.
Well, that's why I kind of went back to Cars 2, because I think Cars 2, everyone is sort of like, yeah, they made it because of the merchandising.
From what I hear, there might be some pressure beyond Disney for them to have made Cars sequel.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Because of the merchandising, because I'm sure John Lasseter, he likes Cars a lot, and he basically was willing to do it. And if anyone's going to do it, he's going to have fun with it, I guess. And he did have fun.
Isn't Cars 3 already officially announced?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's been officially announced for a while. Yeah, that's on the way.
That's another one that I chalk up on that, I'm not sure this could go either way. And the one thing Lasseter has done really well, that I'm really hoping we see this with both of these films, because I'm not hyped about either one of them. I will go see them, but I'm just kind of like, I don't know what I'm getting into. And that's probably the intent. But you see what happened with Tomorrowland. They were very vague about the marketing there, and it was a good movie, but it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that this isn't Lasseter losing the creative control over Pixar, because what they've done over the last 20 years has been
over 20 years.
Yeah, incredible. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll let you guys finish up.
Yeah, let me say something about John Lasseter before we go. I just wanted to bring this up because you brought it up. It's an interesting thought here that now John Lasseter, I'm interested to see how he's going to do with Toy Story 4, because up to this point he's slowly starting to go back into directing, because he's taking a sabbatical from it. I'm hoping he hasn't gotten too rusty being a chief creative officer. Is
it going to be the George Lucas syndrome?
That's the thing. There could be a worry for that. Remember,
I've watched The People versus George Lucas.
It's a fantastic. Maybe we're talking about it. The point is, see, think of John Lasseter. He's kind of, as a chief creative officer, he's made a lot of good decisions. He has, and he's helped out Disney a great deal. I would like to say. I say that. Mm-hmm. However, again with Pixar, when he stepped back in directing chair for Cars 2, I'm not saying because he might have been spread a little thin on that. He didn't. It was more of just a fun project, just kind of doing it. I don't want to haul all the negativity around Cars 2 on John Lasseter. I'm saying he's made a fun movie. And that's what it was. It was like a fun summer blockbuster homaging spy movies. But with that said, though, it's on him to an extent that he made what debatably is a Pixar flop. Debatably, again, I don't agree with that. I just want to leave that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you brought up George Lucas. I mean, you have the same situation with Peter Jackson.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, the Hobbit.
Oh my God, Peter Jackson lost it. Oh my God.
There was a worry that jumping back into it. So yeah, I think The Good Dinosaur will be very telling, because again, Lasseter has helped out in the story for Good Dinosaur a lot, and his story decisions for the movies have been really good. For again on Frozen and in Big Hero 6, story decisions have been in Wreck-It Ralph been excellent. So that's what Good Dinosaur is mainly going to be. It sounds like more story decisions, but he's also going to be like partially directing that movie. And then when we see obviously Toy Story 4 and Cars 3, those are going to be him like fully back in the directing seat. And I'm hoping it goes well. Otherwise, it could be a George Lucas scenario, which would be again not even like a malicious George Lucas scenario of like, no, I just don't care anymore, but more like I don't think I can get back to that creative spirit I once had years ago.
Exactly.
Because remember, there's been a huge gap from when he's done it, aside from Cars 2, there's been a huge gap in between that point, and we saw what happened with Cars 2, is that it could have been a little more up to snuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
Excellent point. I think the one thing that that stresses is that these really are, if you're interested in this as a fan, you really should go see both these movies because they are barometers. I think you made excellent points.
Yeah, and man, believe me, I'm a huge Lasseter's one of my idols. I love the guy to pieces, but they gotta address that elephant in the room there. There is a chance he might be off his game because he's been spread. It's like kind of Seth MacFarlane almost. How Seth MacFarlane, he's a lot of great talent, a lot of great ideas there. However, when he's spread thin, his work diminishes in quality.
Right.
There's a legitimate threat there. Then again, he gives us Ted, and he gives us Ted, and hopefully Ted 2 will be good. We'll see.
Hopefully, yeah. Okay, I'd say that's about enough. We've kind of rambled on for a good hour now on a minute and 10-second trailer. So good job, guys. Good job.
It's basically in a nutshell. We're hoping Good Dinosaur is going to be good.
Yes, exactly.
Pretty much. All right, and with that, see you guys later.